Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. I hope you all are fine and staying safe at home. Dear students, I am your biology teacher and today I am going to start your new topic of chapter number 4, that is about the cells and tissues. So dear students, in the previous lecture we have studied about the different types of movement. So today the topic which we are going to study, in which the first topic, that is about the turgor. That word is turgor. So basically dears, the word turgor is derived from a Latin word. It is not an English word, which means the turgere, so which means to swell. So dear students, the turgor is derived from the Latin word turgere, which means to swell. So the swelling of cell due to endoosmosis is called turgor. So dear students, in the previous lecture I have already told you about the osmosis of water. That osmosis is a word used for the water, in which the water molecules moves into and out of the cell. So dear students, so when the water moves into the cell and due to the inward movement of water the cells become swell, so that condition is known as the turgor. Or another definition is that when a cell increases in size by absorbing water. How will it absorb water? As we have studied in the previous lecture, that when we place a cell in a hypotonic solution, so the water from the solution moves into the cell, due to which the cells become swell and it becomes turgid. So it becomes tough and hard. Due to the absorption of water, due to the increasing amount of water into the cell becomes tough and hard. The cell is said to be then turgid, and the phenomena is called turgidity. So dears, the turgid is the condition in which the cell becomes swells due to the high amount of absorption of water. So when the cell is placed in water in a hypotonic solution, dear, a hypotonic solution is the type of solution in which the solute concentration is low and the solvent is high in amount. And what is the most important solvent that we have? That is the water. So when we place the cell in a hypotonic solution, the osmosis would take place, and osmosis is the process of movement of water into and out of the cell. So the water would enter the cell vacuole first or through tonoplast. So tonoplast is the opening through which the water enters into the cell. So the extra water in vacuole would cause swelling and push the cytoplasm against the cell wall, because it will exert a pressure on the cytoplasm, because the vacuole will be filled with a very high amount of water. So in turgid condition, the plant cell does not burst because the cell wall is strong and relatively inelastic. As I have told you in the previous lecture, dears, that the plant cell wall do not burst due to the high absorption of water, because their cell wall is tough. The pressure which is exerted by the cytoplasm against the cell wall is called turgor pressure, and the phenomena is called turgidity. Dear, as you can clearly see it in this picture, in this diagram, in which the turgid and flaccid cell are shown over here. The flaccid cell is the cell in which the water is lost from the cell to the outside, and due to which the cells become shrinks. It becomes loosens. So when the pressure is exerted by the cytoplasm against the cell wall, as here the cytoplasm is present, that is the vacuole, and it is the nucleus. So around this here that is the cytoplasm. So when a large amount of water enters into the cell, as you can clearly see it in this diagram, so this vacuole becomes swell and it will exert a force on the cytoplasm. So the cytoplasm will exert a pressure on this cell wall, and this pressure of the cytoplasm on the cell wall, that phenomena is known as the turgidity. So the importance of turgor in plant is that it helps us in maintaining the shape of the plant. It also provides support to the plant, especially in young tissues. So dear students, the opening and closing of stomata, so the turgor also helps in closing and opening of stomata, as when the water enters, so the stomatas open. The flower blooming is also helped by the turgor pressure, because we know that the flowers bloom at daytime and closes at night. So that is also due to the change in turgor in the cells of the sepals of the flower. Dears, at daytime, the plant body absorbs excess amount of water, and due to the absorption of high amount of water, the flower blooms, the stomatas open, because they are continuously absorbing the water and the process of photosynthesis is taking place. But at night time, the process of photosynthesis stops and the water do not absorb much amount of water, due to which the stomatas closes down, and due to the closing of stomata, the flower also closes. So dear, another process, that is the wilting. So when a plant cell loses water, its turgidity lost and it becomes flaccid. So wilting is a process in which the plant cell will lose water and will become wilted and will become loosened. So due to the loss of water from the leaves and stem cells, these cells lose turgidity and become flaccid, and limb and the stem drops. As dear, we know that when the water is lost from the plant body, so the leaves will automatically drop, their shape will loosen down, they will become flaccid instead of being turgid, they will become soft. So thus this drooping of plant body due to loss of turgidity is called wilting. The loss of turgidity means that the water is lost from the plant body. As you can clearly see it in this diagram, dears, that in a turgid condition, the plant's bodies will stand erect, while in the flaccid condition, when it loses the water, it becomes flaccid, it drops down, because the vacuole is also shrinkens due to the loss of water. So dears, the another process, that is the plasmolysis. So the process during which the water is lost from the cytoplasm and then from the vacuole, due to which cytoplasm shrinks and pulls away from cell wall, is called plasmolysis. Dears, the process in which the water is lost from the cytoplasm, as you can clearly see it in this diagram, from the cytoplasm the water is lost. Then what will happen? Due to the loss of water, now the water will lost from the vacuole, and when the water is lost from the vacuole, what will happen? The cytoplasm will shrink. This will shrink, as you can clearly see it in this diagram, and will pulls away from the cell wall. Here it is the cell wall, while the cytoplasm is pulled away from the cell wall. The another, that when a plant cell is surrounded by a hypertonic solution, there when will the you can say when will the plant be plasmolized, and when will the phenomena of plasmolysis occur? When we place a plant cell in a hypertonic solution, as in previous lecture we have studied. Dears, I am continuously saying, to understand this topic you must have to see the previous lecture video, in which we have placed the cell in a hypertonic solution. The hypertonic solution is a type of solution in which the solute concentration is high. For example, the salt concentration is high and the water concentration is low. So the water will leave the cell by osmosis, and when the water is lost from cytoplasm and then from vacuole, so the protoplasm or the cytoplasm of the cell shrinks and the cell will become flaccid or plasmolized, and this condition of the plant cell is known as the plasmolysis. So dear students, the protoplasm, that is the living content of the cell surrounded by the cell wall, is called protoplasm or cytoplasm. Here I will again say that I have already told you about the cytoplasm and protoplasm, in which the living contents are present, which is surrounded by the cell wall to give them a proper shape. So dear, now coming towards the condition of a deplasmolysis. Now it will be opposite of the plasmolysis. So how will this phenomena occur? When we again place the cell in a hypotonic solution, where the water concentration is high. So the water from the hypotonic solution will move into the cell, and the cell will restore its turgidity. So that process is called the deplasmolysis. Now dears, coming towards the next topic, that is about the endocytosis. So endocytosis is a general term for the process that brings more macromolecules, large particles and even small cells into the cell. So dear, endo means into, cyto means cell. So dear, the phenomena in which the larger molecules or larger particles or even smaller molecules are enters into the cell, and how will this mechanism occur? So now we will study the following steps. The first step is the invagination of cell membrane. What will happen first dear is when the process of or when the phenomena of endocytosis occurs, first the cell membrane will invaginate, it will fold inwards and take in the materials from the environment, forming a pocket. They will form a pocket-like structure, as you can clearly see it in this picture, that they will form a pocket like this. First the cell membrane will invaginate and the particles will enter into the cell. Then the vesicle formation, the pocket will deepen, forming a vesicle, as you have clearly seen it in the diagram. So then this vesicle separates from the plasma membrane and will migrate with its contents to the cell's interior dear. Now you can clearly see that first the pocket will form and then it will deepen like here. First the pocket is formed and then it will deepens down and will separate from the plasma membrane and will enter into the cell in the form of vesicle. You can clearly see it in this diagram. So dear students, there are two types of endocytosis, that is the phagocytosis and pinocytosis. There is only a single difference between the phago and pinocytosis. Basically in phagocytosis, the solid material stays into the cell, while in the pinocytosis, the liquid material, the solid liquid material stays into the cell. So dear, the pinocytosis and phagocytosis are both the phenomena of cellular eating and cellular drinking. For example, in phago they are taking in the solid material, so they are eating the solid material, while in pinocytosis they are taking the liquid material, so they are drinking the cellular contents. Okay dears, as you can clearly see it in this diagram, like in this diagram here the solid particles are entering, while here the liquid material is entering. Now coming towards the next process, that is the exocytosis. So dear students, exocytosis is the process by which the materials packaged in vesicles as like in the endocytosis, but they are exerted from a cell to the outside. They do not move into the cell. So exocytosis is the opposite of the endocytosis dear. In this, the materials exert outside to the cell. They are exerted from the cell. So the exocytosis occurs in the following steps dears. Now we will study the mechanism of exocytosis. The first step is the binding of vesicle membrane with cell membrane. So the initial event in exocytosis is the binding of vesicle membrane with the cell membrane. First, what will happen dear? In the first step, in exocytosis, the vesicles which are formed into the cell, as they are formed outside from the cell, so same like that the vesicle will also form inside the cell, as you can clearly see it in this diagram dear, that the first the vesicle forms in the cell and then it moves, it attaches to the cell membrane, then they moves out, the materials are exerted from the cell. As you can clearly see it in this diagram, both the endo and exocytosis. In endocytosis, first the pocket is formed, then this pocket deepens down and form the vesicle, and then this vesicle separates from the cell membrane. So that endocytosis, the exocytosis is the opposite of endocytosis. First this vesicle is formed, then it will attaches, the particles will move out and will be completely exerted out from the cell. So dear, second, the content of the vesicles are then released to the environment and the vesicle membrane is incorporated into the cell membrane. Dear, what will happen when the when the materials are released to the environment? So the vesicle membrane will again straighten down to form the cell membrane. These two processes are opposite of one another, as you can clearly see it in this diagram. In endocytosis, first the materials enters into the cell, and how it enters? First, the cell membrane invaginates, it moves inward, it forms a pocket-like structure, and then it deepens down and forms the vesicle, and then this vesicle separates from the cell membrane and move completely into the cell. So in exocytosis, in the cell the vesicle is formed, then it attaches with the cell membrane, then the molecules are exerted out from the cell completely. So dear students, I hope you all have understand it clearly and there will be no problem inshallah. Stay safe, stay home. Allah Hafiz.